didn't touch on one thing. The engine that we got, that we were working on, training on, was in service for about 10 days before the accident happened. Lamar Township, who's not even in Center County, I don't think, heard about our misfortune, donated us another engine for $1. We thought we were going down there to borrow it. When we walked in there, those guys said, listen, we had something paid forward. If you have $1 in your pocket, you just bought this fire truck. It's the one that's in service currently right now that you saw the firemen leave earlier. There was a wreck here on Route 45. It responded. So contrary to popular belief, we do respond to calls. We have and are currently setting up grants to help pay for new turnout gear, which is what we wear. Also for a new truck. It's about 1.5 to 2 year turnaround time till we write the grant, get the grant accepted, and get the truck in our fire hall. So right now, we're using the engines that were donated to us. Training. We have 2 firemen certified at firefighter 1 level. We have 2 firemen certified at level 2, firefighter 2. Fire police are certified. EVOC certification, which is emergency vehicle operation certification. Hazmat certified. Participating department in the Fire Commissioner's Office of Continuing Education. CPR first aid certified. 3 certified emergency medical responders, and 2 certified EMTs. Fundraising. Not only do we respond to calls, but we also have to fundraise to keep our doors open. Bingo, which was not a popular topic when we wanted to start having bingos. Our bingos now average around $1,000 of profit per month. Thank you, community. Thank you, Judy, for fighting through that. One of the things that we did at our bingos is we opened it up to the people playing bingo as to what food you wanted to eat. Bingo players like to eat finger food, so they can keep playing bingo. With that being said, we had a citizen approach us and say, hey, I'd like to make soup for your bingo. That is community support. We have hoagie sales. We have sandwich sales. The sandwich sales are ham and cheese and turkey and cheese. And it is a double fundraiser because it helps us, but it's also made by the small little church up that the Kobolds go to, like Synagogue Gap. It is a fundraiser for them. They make the sandwiches, they get a profit off of it, they deliver it to us, we get a profit off of it. That is community service. Chicken barbecues. We started something new this year. We put a rodent up there. Charles, you had a lot to do with that. I thank you for that. And everybody else in the community who donated time, trucks, and equipment to put those roads in. We had a drive-through chicken barbecue, hoagie, soup sale for Penn State football games. Well, we thought we'd get a lot of Penn State traffic. We did, but we had overwhelming community support for that. We had people asking when the next one was going to be. Okay, guys, White, I know you contributed to that a lot, so I want to thank you for making macaroni salad, and I don't know if you made beans or not, but whatever you made, thank you. Our annual carnival's coming up. That's a big fundraiser. Last year we had one of the biggest carnival profits that we have had in a long time. Gun raffle. We're going to try something different this year. Our surrounding fire companies have a gun raffle. They have food and beverages there. It's going to be at the carnival grounds. Come out, spend the day. Actually, I don't think it's a day. I think it's 11 to 4. I don't want to be there on this. I think it's 11 to 4. It is a big fundraiser for a lot of the local fire companies. So please come out and support us. If you hear of a gun raffle drawing of any other surrounding fire companies, please come out and help them too. Helmet cash raffle. We started something here 3 months ago. We started a helmet / cash raffle. There's some companies over in Mifflin County that do it. They sell 200 tickets at $10 a piece. So do the math, that's $2,000. They give away either a cash prize of $675 or they give away a leather fire helmet. So if you're a fireman, you win the helmet, it's pretty cool. Just don't tell your wife that you won the helmet instead of taking $675. But we had one that was very successful. We now have another one underway. In general, and in closing, sorry for taking so much time. Our doors are open. We want transparency. We want the community to come out. We want the community to support. We're there every Monday night, either fixing equipment, cleaning up the shed, or out training. Please come see what we do. Other companies have reached out to us to train with them. I can only speak for the past 2 years. This has been happening for the past 2 years. I don't know whether it happened before. But I'm telling you, other companies are reaching out. They want to train with us. Other chiefs around the area are writing letters to the Board of Supervisors saying that this fire company is growing, this fire company is in a good place. Rumors. They're easy. It's easy to spread a rumor. Come see us. Come see a member. Call me. I live at 143 Beaver Street. Come see me. Come pound on my door. I'll tell you right from wrong. I'll tell you the truth. If I don't know the answer, I'll give you the answer. This is a big one. Change. Nobody likes change. Unfortunately, we're in a never-changing world. So you can either embrace change or you can hide behind change. If you hide behind change, what do you have that's going to be revealed with the change? What do you hide? In closing, the Gregg Township Fire Company is here for the community. Is the community here for us? That's all I got. Any questions while I'm here? Yes.
Neighbor, friend, home farmer. The question was asked to me a couple of times, the rumors going through about if you lived in the township 26 years, how come you just joined now? Okay, now, you don't know how hard to do it, that's the question going around. Here's a good place to answer.
You got it. I'll go better than that. 3 years ago, my now 20-year-old son wanted to become a firefighter. I said, not in Gregg Township. Not with the leadership we have in there right now. I said, go to Center Hall, go to Millhot, go to Reeversburg. I don't care where you go, you're not going to Spring Mills. He joined Center Hall. He's now a firefighter level 1. While he was in school full-time, he took firefighter 1. Why I didn't join? Those of you who've lived in the community a long time, remember El Poblito's Mexican restaurant right over here. I was a firefighter still in Center Hall, living in Spring Mills. I was working night shift. My wife came in and woke me up and said, the Mexican restaurant over town is on fire. Do you think you should go help? I said, yes, I should. I got out of bed. I come over. That's when the engine that is sitting over here that we just sold for $6,000 some odd dollars was brand new. I came over, I walked up to the engine operator, and I said, how can I help? They said, well, give us a second. They're trying to get water. The firemen are hauling for water. They're trying to fight a fire. They cannot get water. I tapped the operator of that specific piece of equipment on his shoulder, and I said, you may want to close your pump valve. You have more water running out of this truck than you do going out of hose. I cannot repeat what was told to me, Dale, because we're in a public forum. It included the F word 3 or 4 times, and get out of here, you young punk from Center Hall. At that time, however long ago that was, I walked away. 2 years ago, a knock came at my door. I was approached to rejoin the Gray Township Fire Company. I have had several people thank me. Not that I'm anything special. I could be sitting at home right now on my back porch with my feet propped up, not worried about what's going on in the community of Spring Mills. Have I had second thoughts about doing that? No. Should have I? Maybe. But no. I want to be here for the community. We want to be here for the community. And like I said, we're here for you. Are you here for us?
Well, that should answer one problem that's going on.
I hope it does. If it doesn't, I'll stand here all night. I only have half a jug of water, but I can go refill it. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Why, I've never heard of any of the stuff that's going on. Why isn't the community being notified?
Of what, the equipment breaking down?
You just said a lot of stuff, I have no clue that's happening here.
Okay. So,
What's going on?
I agree. I will take partial blame for that. Moving forward, we will have, Gregg Township Fire Company will have a representative here at every meeting, supervisors meeting. I promise you that. I'm not sure how many we have come to this year. We are volunteers. We have other things going on. We have other meetings that we need to attend for volunteers. Unfortunately, we have not well represented ourselves. Okay? We're here to fix that. Okay? And like I said, my phone number is actually on the fire hall door. All right? I try to go to bed between 9:30 and 10, so please don't call after that. I know I'm old. Everybody tells me I'm old. But seriously, call. I live right on Cooper Street. Stop in. We're fine. Scott, I know your door's open. I know your phone number's on the doors. You want to stand up, Scott? Scott Rayon's actually our chief. He left to go on a call. His name is also on the door. All the assistant chiefs' names are on the door with their phone numbers. And Dale Musser's name on the door because you rent the hall, correct? With your phone number, I believe. Anything else?
Probably better, but I'd like you to make a comment. The rumor going around that the truck that was donated to us, we smashed it. Yes, we did, but it wasn't our fault. It was faulty of the equipment. That ought to be cleared up and save a lot of rumors through the township.
So the equipment that we got donated from Port Matilda, we brought it down here, and before we put it in service, we wanted to start from ground zero with records. So we sent it down to Glick, who is a fire company, fire engine mechanic. They're down in Mill Hall. We sent it down there. They called Scott, and they said, there's some things wrong with this. We agreed in a meeting to fix it before we got it, so that it didn't break. I don't remember the timeline of how long it was.
About 3 months.
2 months?
3 months.
3 months. We got it back. It was working great. We drove it. We had people certified on it. We had people certified on the pump. It was working great. And 3 of us were out training. And it jumped out of gear. And it took off down through the brush. My son was on top of it, jumped off. I was at the pump panel operating with another gentleman. I'm intentionally not mentioning his name. Okay, Jim raised his hand, Jim Smith. We were training Jim Smith. It was actually the same day as the Frosty Hook was on fire. We had that piece of equipment there. So what's really scary is the people sitting on Pickle's front porch, that truck could have went into that front porch. We don't know. Anyhow, we were training Jim. Jim could have been easily swept under the truck and run over. When the truck took off, it hit a power line pole guide wire. My son jumped off. I ran and got in the truck to try and stop it. I didn't want any damage done to it. Hindsight, it's 2020. Pretty stupid. Could have been run over. It went through the brush, ripped the door off. The door went flying behind me, and actually, enough force of the truck, the door got wedged under the side of the truck into the ground. So, That was misfortune. We still had equipment in our fire hall to fight fire. Never at any time did we not have equipment in our fire hall to fight fire. Then, like I said, Lamar Township found out about our misfortune. We went over there, bought a truck for $1.
Darren, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can you specify for the people of Gregg Township, when you had an engine fail, go out of service, at that time, you chiefs put mutual aid immediately in order to cover Gregg Township and the piece that they were missing. So at no point in time, the same amount of water was responding to this township. It was coming from a further distance, but they covered their bases. They never left the citizens uncovered. Am I correct?
Good point, Governor. So never at any point was the Gregg Township citizens or surrounding citizens in danger of not having fire service. We had mutual aid. We had trucks to get out the door to fight the fire. We didn't have a lot of water on them, but we knew mutual aid was coming. To go one step further, Domer, since he spoke up, is a member of Gregg Township Fire Company and is also a member of Center Hall Fire Company. Sean Meyer, who's been a lifelong resident of Penn Valley, is a Gregg Township resident and one of the assistant chiefs at Center Hall. In the past 2 years, we built a great working relationship with not only Center Hall, with Milheim Reaver. If one of our chiefs cannot cover, our first assistant chief is Dale Tischer. He works 2 in the afternoon till 11 at night, or 2 to 10. He is here 99% of the time until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. You have a chief in Gregg Township, at least until 1 o'clock. I'm the second assistant chief. I have permission to leave work for any call. Yes, I'm in State College. I'm 20 minutes out. But at least I'm responding, at least I'm communicating with the county on what we need. Scott, our chief, unfortunately, has a job where he can't leave. He is here for coverage all day Sunday and all day Monday. Since we have built a good working relationship with the surrounding companies, Domer helps cover when we are out of town or whether we have something going on. Sean Meyer, Center Hall's assistant, is also used for coverage. We've worked with Harry, we worked with Sean to have him covered. For those of you who don't know, he lives by the New Hope Church. He's right here. When the Frosty Hope fire happened, I was at my camp behind high school, cutting wood for my dad. Sean responded. Domer responded. I responded. Sean got on scene first. They put him in command. That does not mean Gregg Township did not respond. Gregg Township was here. We had 2 pieces of equipment. We had 9 people and 2 chiefs. We responded. Picture was in the paper. We have 2 pieces of equipment sitting there. So contrary to rumors, we have coverage. Pardon my French, we have damn good coverage. Dale, you seem to be the question back. Got anything else?
I got a whole list that we don't have time for.
All right, well, he's putting that down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. While he's putting that down, anybody else that wants to come up and ask questions? I just want to say Lindsay couldn't be here for the EMS. We have a joint municipal meeting regarding the EMS on June 23rd, so we should learn a lot more. I will say that things are still not going well with the EMS financially and organizationally, so we're hoping that on June 24th, the 7 municipalities will have a little bit more information on how to move forward with that. So, anybody else have any questions about anything going on in the township? Nobody?
I just would like to know, where are you advertising this so that everybody else knows what's going on?
Where are we advertising what?
What's going on? I came for a regular meeting to find out at the town hall.
It's online, it's on social media, and
Okay, let's
costs a lot of money to put advertisements in. We could send mailers. It costs a lot of money. So the town has to decide what, you know,
What about that?
we talked about it at the last meeting actually, so it was on the minutes from, or it was on,
I came to a meeting that wasn't even here because online it said there was a meeting, and when I got here, there wasn't. And even in the case, it said there was a meeting. So, now what? So that's what I mean.
I don't know what
There's
you
so
were
much
saying too.
confusion. There's confusion there.
It's something we can look into a little bit more. But we do try to announce at the previous meeting what's going on at the next meeting.
Not everyone.
The best we can do is put agendas online. You can stop and get an agenda in the office before that. We try and have the agendas done at the beginning of the week, but we can look at other forms of communication as well.
The Board of Supervisors meetings was basically like a year, close friends who came, they would just be more of the town hall part of it.
Right, but there was changes made that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
That's what,
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to say something here. My name's Gary Hoffer, Center Fire Company. I'm the chief up there. I want to tell all of you, every one of you, this fire department has grown 100%. Center Hall has taken Bolter and moved all those companies back and added Gregg Township for our first visit. You cannot, I mean, are you two township supervisors and members of the fire department? Are you getting involved, see what's going on? Okay. What would you rather have them do? Would you rather see them do fundraisers, or would you rather have them do fighting fire? You guys have got to get behind these guys 100%. Everybody needs to get behind these guys 100%. They're saving all your guys' life. Look at the insurance that you're paying. If you guys dissolve this fire company, you're going to pay a lot of insurance. A lot of insurance. So think about what you're doing and all the rumors that's going around. Because this fire company's here. So, thank you. While you're up there. Yes. I want to make a note. Mutual aid is better than I have ever seen it in all the years I've been with there. I'll tell you, we have meetings throughout the year. All four companies get together. Never happened before. It never happened before. The four departments get together, we hash things out, we plan things out for the year. These guys are excellent. Don't turn them away.
I'd like to pick up where Harry just left off. I've been an active member of Center Hall Fire Company since 1989 or 1990. I know for years, fire companies based their coverage on township and municipal lines. Well, it's 2019. Those days are long gone. Center Hall's volunteer status has dropped. I mean, we're lucky we're one of the few of the county that we continue to have an active status. Gregg Township has really come a long way. I know for years we didn't utilize Gregg Township because we couldn't depend on response. We'd ask for an engine, we may get 1 or 2 people in. Sometimes we may get 7 or 8. But that's not their fault. The manpower is hard to come across. Volunteers don't exist. In the fire service, you don't have to put full turnout gear on and fight fires. You don't have to extricate patients from a vehicle. There are so many other things that every person in this community could volunteer and come out and help. You don't have to deal with, as we would put it, the blood and the guts and that type of thing. You really don't. And we'd like to welcome more people. I know Center Hall, we get members all the time. We're lucky with community members. We don't have carnivals in our communities anymore. I mean, thank goodness Drake Township still does. Milheim's having theirs tonight. Rebersburg still has theirs. You ask about communications. Communications are difficult. It is hard for us to communicate to the community what's going on when township supervisors have a hard time advertising a meeting for people to understand. I can't explain how we can do it. We're all guilty of it. The volunteer fire service is guilty of not getting communication to the citizens. But I will tell you, we try to do our best. I know one of the things that they do in Center Hall is we have a newsletter. Our fire company tries to put something in that newsletter that goes to all the citizens, I think 4 times a year. It's quarterly, am I correct? It gives you some type of information. It gives you something. But please trust that I don't think there's anybody in Penns Valley that would do anything detrimental to this community or anybody that lives here. And I will tell you 3 years ago, 2016, the 4 fire companies of Penns Valley never got along well. I'll be the first one to tell you that. You know, oh, we're better than you, we do this. Well, that needed to stop. So we recommended the 4 companies get together and have a meeting. Well, we held it at a neutral site, which was Company 28's ambulance station. That was the point where everyone sat at the table and said, okay, there's been problems. What are they? Doug, you were there. We hashed those out. It gave everybody an opportunity to get the problems out there. We resolved them. From that day forward, we now have a perfect working relationship, all 4 companies. Penns Valley sustains itself. It hasn't happened in the 30 years that I was there until recently. We don't have to call Bolingbrook. We don't have to call Pleasant Gap. We don't have to call. We use our own companies, which is great. We actually bought new rescue tools in Center Hall 2 years ago. We bought and made sure all our equipment interworked with Milheim and Rebersburg. So if our piece of equipment broke, we could take theirs, tie it right into our rescue, and they could go to work. Spring Mills bought our old equipment so that they had something to start with, because obviously we all know vehicle accidents are probably 75% of our calls. It's just how it is. We don't have a lot of fires, thank God, but we have vehicle accidents all the time. But I would just like to say I appreciate everything that every person that's active in the fire company right now is doing, and I think it's a great thing that Penns Valley is working together as a whole. And yes, I live on Reeder Road. I grew up in Center Hall. I guess I've always had something with Center Hall. I could never give it up. So I've always stayed an active member. I'm currently first safety officer for Center Hall. But I'm also active with Drake Township now. And even when I wasn't a member, if they needed help, I always went. That's just, and they always accepted it. It didn't matter. You know, that's how we work here. You don't have to be a member of Company 7, Company 4, Company 18 to be your call. Any one of us can pull into a fire scene or an accident scene, and we will utilize every person that's there. And that's how it should be. Especially today, because nobody wants to volunteer. Everyone wants to pay.
I got a question. How come someone needs dope let volunteers go in?
What's this now?
Well, how come you don't let someone go in?
Well, I
I'm
can,
not an answer to it. I'm not getting supplies.
no, I will tell you. Center Hall has standard operating procedures. So there's a minimum requirement that we like, and it's basically based on our insurance companies. They have to have what is now known as Essentials of Firefighting. I believe it's how many modules? 4 modules still. All right, how many total hours? 188? 165 hours is what basically we say, if you're going to be a new fireman and you want to do interior firefighting, you need to take 165 hours of training. Now, I want you to add those hours up. I'm 48 years old. As a matter of fact, today's my birthday. So I gave up my birthday with my family to come here tonight to defend everybody around.
Well, I know years ago, and I know the people within the fire company, and they put a
2 hours that one of the other guys don't have to do. And we're trying to fix that. Trust me, it's hard. But same thing with vehicle accidents. Today's vehicles, they aren't the same as they were 30 years ago. There's so many things we need to watch when we pull in. We can't just, I mean, I can tell you when I first get in, you went up to a vehicle and if there was somebody pinned inside, the older members taught us how to cut them out. That was the training we had. You didn't have to worry about airbags deploying in your face. You didn't have to worry about electric cords running from a battery cell to the motor that's going to electrocute you when you cut through it. You know, so the training, I can tell you most of the guys are tech level training, which is a state certified course.
I can tell you, there's a lot, my husband was a truck
It's,
over here.
okay, and I think I might have been at that call.
The firemen were good.
Right, and I think
They took us out the back window, they had to break the window, we rolled the.
I think I held you in that vehicle from underneath the vehicle the whole time till we got you out.
No, it was now, my husband, he was there 3 hours, so
Okay.
we're ready at the hospital.
Okay,
I
well,
drove up there all the way, I'm not hurt on the one.
like I said, I don't want to make it, it's very difficult to get people to do things anymore. It is, it's hard.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So as far as communications is
Yes.
concerned, do you guys, does the Brigham Township Department, do you have a website or a Facebook page that's public that we could,
There is an active Facebook page
okay.
that I know anybody can sign on to, and I believe, do you still use your website?
Yeah, it shows the
Well, the
website
reason I
page.
ask is because I know, Terry talked about not only for the township, the ways that we can help the township, and often I stop in or I call and say, what do you guys need help with or something, or Terry and I talk to the same church, so, but same thing with you guys, like, I think that people would be more apt to help in little things here and there if they could, and same thing with the township, if maybe that kind of stuff could be posted somewhere, on the website or on a Facebook page, things that you're looking for help with, so if somebody has a skill, then maybe they could, like Carrie said about grant writing, and you guys have some grant, the fire company has some grants, so somebody that has experience with that kind of stuff could maybe volunteer or at least give some input. So I think if there was a way to make those, hey, this is what we're looking for, anybody who would like to help, if you have a fundraiser going on and you don't have enough help,
Right.
those type of things, like, I would be more apt to say, let's hop on there and look, every once in a while, and see if there was something that was, I could help to do,
True.
And maybe there's other people.
Did anybody, and we all know how, most of us know how Facebook works. If something's posted, you don't necessarily see it in your,
Right.
whatever they call that, I'm getting too old, but news feed, thank you. But if you type in Greg Township Fire Company, their Facebook page is going to pop up. And maybe if you do that weekly, you may come up and say, oh, there's a new thing. Perfect example. I believe there was events sent out today for the Greg Township Fire Company
Right.
for when the carnival is. And I know it's for the dunk tank, and yes, I was talked into sitting. So, okay, all right. And I hope that, maybe a lot of people come out and throw balls and, whatever. My daughter was all upset. She thought I was going to drown, and I said, well, it's possible. But I just wanted to say thanks to everybody, because I know it's not an easy job. Nobody's, you heard the hours. Just for firefighting and vehicle accidents, you're looking at over 300 hours. That's a lot of time. You have little kids at home. We all have full-time jobs. 30 years ago, a lot of wives didn't work. Husbands did it. They could volunteer a lot more of their time. I'm sorry, in my house, it takes my wife and I both to work to take care of our kids. We also volunteer. It's not just with the fire company. I was a township supervisor for a while. I was a Center Hall Borough Councilman. And I'm not sure I made the greatest decision, but I'm going to be a school board director coming this fall. So that limits my time with the fire company, but I still can find ways to get out there, even if it's just fundraising. So everybody consider that and know that we have a lot of problem identifiers in this valley. What we need is problem solvers. That's what we need.
Thank you. I know there's a lot of firemen here from the fire company, so I'm sure you'll be around. People want to talk afterwards. But
That's the question.
sure. Any other questions about any other township stuff? Feel free to email us, call us, stop in the office. us on Facebook. There's subscriptions online. You can subscribe to e-notifications. You'll get emails anytime we update stuff on there. But please feel free, any concerns, comments, suggestions, to get in touch with us. So I thank you all for coming out. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
home or what? We don't like having kids on that, most football.
We like to